And it has been a period of contrast in the past 12 months. On the one hand, our schools, colleges and programmes have tried to survive and protect services under that regime of continued and worsening cuts to resources and staffing. And on the other hand, the structural reform and overhaul of the sector has been very profound as well, and we'll deal with that in a moment. And the point that I wanted to make is about, and we'll be making it tomorrow as well, that the continued investment in the education system over the years, up to recent years, has brought about very considerable success in terms of Irish education outcomes. Sometimes we're inclined to do ourselves down and not realise the achievements we have made. I'll give you just a few examples. Early school leaving has been reduced to 10.5% for the secondary school population. And that's about 4% below the EU average and close to the target in 2020 of 10%. We're already at 10.5%. 7 out of 10 of our secondary school leavers go on to higher education at the moment, currently now. And Ireland is joint first in the EU at 49.9% for 30 to 34-year-olds with third-level qualifications, where the EU headline target for 2020 is 40%. It's clear then that investment in education system a decade ago and before that has produced the results we have today. And it's those results that attracted, I think, the many international enterprises that have located in this country. And as Sean Ash pointed earlier at the meeting, the Kerry are bringing 800 such people here, Kerry Foods, to Naas. So the percentage of the working, but it's not all good because I mentioned there 30 to 34-year-olds and the high level of academic qualifications they have, a younger age group. The percentage of the working population with less than upper secondary education, though, taking all the working population, is 26%. And that's compared to an OECD average of 21%. So there is a lot of work to be done. And there is well-documented issues about literacy and numeracy and problem solving, which the education system is trying to improve with new maths programs and integrated literacy in our educational programs. And the 2009 PISA international survey identified those problems for us, and we do rank below the OECD average on that, and it's hope that when the new survey comes out, we'll see a difference in that. And then education, these are the kind of things that are important, and we try to emphasise to government and the Department of Education all during this year, that Ireland's economic future and stability depended on the next generation being at the top of the skills ladder. Because an investment, as we've all said, in skills and training are important. There is no point giving us added responsibilities and functions as education and training boards if we don't have the resources to deliver on the targets that are going to be set for us. And education cuts and cutting resources, cutting tutors, cutting staffing, putting cap and PLCs, all that is actually starving us of the resources we need to enable us to produce the graduates, the students, who are able to compete in a globalised economy and to make, they are our Ireland's trump card of the future if inward investment is to be attracted, and it in turn is to drive the economy out of recession. And then it's against that backdrop, that need that the Minister, I accept he's been dealt a very bad hand. Press reports now talk of 100 million. The President will be dealing with that tomorrow, cuts. And that's, if all that is implemented, it certainly has to do damage. It certainly has to damage. There's no point crying wolf. That would be quite a very significant challenge for all of us. So as the schools and the colleges then, under stress and strain as they are at the moment, and centres of education and those involved in our programmes, the task that we all face as providers of educational training and programmes is to enhance that year on year the educational standards and capabilities of our students. In other words, we must continue to preserve and grow the educational experience, and that's becoming more and more difficult under the continuing harsh regime of budget cuts. Last year, our President told government the cupboard was bare in terms of cutbacks. As I said, shaving 100 million, if that is to be the case, I know the Minister is fighting to reduce that. If that is the case, then it will be very significant for us. And we do support the Minister's attempts to set aside some of that, to spread it across other departments, particularly the redress board, the cost of that redress board, which is up to 50 million, it could be up to 40 to 50 million. If the state failed people who are in orphanages or laundries or whatever, then we've argued this case ourselves at Stanley Council. We've written to the Minister about this, that should be spread across all government departments. It should not just be the responsibility of education and training, because to do so, you're actually compounding, you're actually, in a sense, if it affects the educational outcomes for today's generation, trying to resolve and redress a situation that was caused by previous generations. So I said that I mentioned about the contrast. That's one side of it, of the contrast, but within the sector that we have, we've become education and training boards. And so the training dimension is something new that we have. And the establishment of ETBs on July the 1st heralded a new era for the sector. Their establishment also signalled the end of the vocational education committees after 83 years of services to local communities. The statutory appointment of the Chief Executive Officer on July the 1st was followed by the first meeting of the new boards in July 2013, thus putting in place the governance framework for our member ETBs.